economic recession is going on, the overall number of Christian believers is decreased. So the next generation is breaking away from the church. All indicators are dark.
Chongjanim, it's so good to finally have you here. How do you feel right now?
I'm very trembling. You gave me 7 or 8 questions. It's very difficult to answer for those questions.
But that's why I asked you, because you're so wise and you give such good answers. Chongjanim, you are the president of Presbyterian Theological Seminary of America. How long have you been the president of the school for?
This year, 11 years.
Wow, 11 years.
Yeah, it's long time.
And before that, were you a 목사님 somewhere at a church?
I didn't serve as a senior pastor. I served as an associate pastor for several churches. And for this school, I served as academic dean of academic affairs and dean of administrative affairs. So after that, previous President Sir invited me as a candidate for president. I am the 6th president.
The 6th one?
Yeah, 6th one.
And so before being president, what church were you serving at before?
I can't tell you.
Oh, okay.
I can tell you the name of churches, a kind of Korean American church.
Okay. Is there a reason why you can't say it? Is it because of just your position?
At the time, I felt not good.
Okay.
Not good experience.
Okay.
Yeah.
Talk to me briefly about how you first started in ministry. Were you in South Korea? Did you go to seminary in South Korea? And what was it like when you started there? And then coming over here to America, what was that ministry beginning like for you?
After graduating from high school, I personally met God. I joined a revival meeting. Feel God touched me. So I transformed as a believer, a true believer. So after that, I came in America for studying abroad. I entered the Claremont School of Theology for PhD program. And then I entered into Claremont Graduate University for doctoral program. I studied for New Testament studies. And while attending the program, I served church, and also I served this school as a dean of administrative affairs. So I have worked for both duties. It was very difficult times for me to handle both works. Yeah.
What did you do your THM studies in? What subject?
Master of Theological Studies.
Okay, so was it in a specific emphasis, like New Testament, Old Testament?
Broad Theological Studies.
Okay. And did you go to high school in America or in Korea?
Korea.
Okay.
Of course, Korea.
So Korea, and then so for graduate work, you came to America, Claremont.
After graduating from seminary.
Okay. And then you went to America.
Right.
Why did you come to America? Why did you not stay in Korea?
I want to study deeply for New Testament studies. At the time, specifically, I studied for biblical hermeneutics. As you know, your specialty is biblical interpretation, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to really study for biblical interpretation and biblical studies. Yeah.
Wow. So did you ever think while you were in Korea, I could just study that here? Or did you always know I need to go to America to study this?
I really enjoyed theological studies at South Korea, but I want broad and deep study for biblical studies. American educational situation is more effective, more helpful for me in future scholar career.
And which seminary did you go to in Korea?
Presbyterian University and Theological Seminary now.
What was it called in Korean? What is it called in Korean?
장로회 신학대학교.
Okay.
I studied for M.Div program at that school.
청자님, here at the school, it's a well-known Korean-speaking seminary. Here in Southern California, I know that a lot of the Korean-speaking students or pastors, they like coming to this school here.
All right.
And it's a pretty well-known within Korean-speaking.
Uh-huh.
But you wanted to start an English-speaking M.Div program here. Why did you want to do that?
Okay.
Where did this idea come from?
When inaugurating as the president for this school, I publicized 6 visions. First one is a high quality education, theological education, clear and dynamic spirituality education, and international global leadership education, and Christian humanities education, and practical bilingual education. Those are my 6 visions for this school and for our school's future. From 6 years ago, I want to transform this school into missional seminary. Missional seminary means we have to overcome cultural and ethnical and generational gap. When I considering future, especially theological educational future, is very dark. So I want to set up here for missional seminary, including multi-ethnical, multi-generational, multiracial background. So for this, I want to set up M.Div, an English M.Div program, to going to the next step. Finally, going to a missional seminary. English M.Div program is very important key step. I want to share that vision with our school staffs. And as you know, the total number of studying abroad students is rapidly dropped. And the total number of educational students is totally dropped. Next generation, the number of next generation is rapidly dropped and leaving from church. So our school's future have to overcome various kind of handicap or handicap or difficulties. To solve this problem, we need to going to a missional seminary with an English M.Div program.
You said that the future for theological education is dark. What did you mean by that? Why do you say that the future is dark?
Religion is devaluated. Church belief is living from churches. Next generation is going outside of going outside of church. The future is very dark, and our theological educational curriculum is very limited. We need to revise our theological educational curriculum and methodology. So we need to reset all kinds of things to go to a bright future.
I think when you said that your vision was to develop a missional seminary
Right.
is a great vision, especially what we're trying to do right now. We're really trying to help our students understand that you have to be a missionary first, understand the culture, and then you can shepherd and pastor the culture.
Right.
But as you know, first and second generation Koreans have been against each other for a long time. There's been a
Right.
lot of division, lots of differences. And so when you came in as the president and you had this vision, I want to develop a missional seminary and eventually talking about starting an English M.Div program, what were some of the responses from the faculty here and the board of directors? What were they saying to you? Because I feel like they would think, why do you want to do that? Let's just stay Korean speaking because that's who we are.
As you know, this seminary is a kind of Korean seminary. To change it is very difficult. To install English M.Div program, our school reset everything. And to hire English-speaking staffs and faculty members, we need to set up everything. English M.Div program is a kind of middle step toward going toward missional seminary. Missional seminary is including multicultural, multiracial, multi-ethnical background. The English M.Div program is a kind of middle step for final destination. So it's a kind of brand new approach. We need to talk to each other for fully set up English M.Div program. This is first time for me to deal with this project. I need your experience, your opinion. So for the process of conversation, sometimes it's very not easy, but sometimes very difficult. We need to talk to each other to solve this problem, such as cultural differences, linguistic barrier, and different leadership style. But through conversing each other, we have to fully deal with those kind of difficulties. So our school has traditional own cultural background, but we have to change our school setting and cultural background having until this time. So changing is not easy, but we have to try. We have to try for final destination. And this process is very precious and very important step. I'm trying.
That's amazing to hear because, again, I would assume or think that they would not like that because you're a Korean-speaking seminary. So when you have this vision and you're thinking about starting an English-speaking M.Div program, what were your personal thoughts in terms of challenges and struggles? What did you think would be the hardest obstacles in trying to start this program?
As you know, I'm a biblical scholar, but I personally transformed my idea to focus on our school's future vision and mission. So missional concept is very important for our school's future theological studies. So I want to focus on God's mission. So theological education is very limited and is not focused on mission, God's mission. So to accomplish God's mission, we need to change everything. To accomplish our vision. So God gave me that vision. So I want to change totally our school's curriculum and teaching style and future plan.
Were you afraid at all about the Korean students here? Because they might think, oh, English speaking Korean Americans are coming in. Why would you want to do that? Were you afraid that the Korean students here would be unhappy about it at all?
I don't think so. This is an era of educational revolution. So going through this pandemic era, educational situation is rapidly changed. So the situation inside and outside of church and seminary is rapidly changed. The number of F1 visa students is greatly dropped. And severe economic recession is going on. The overall number of Christian believers is decreased. So the next generation is breaking away from the church. All indicators are dark for the future. At times like this, a approach is needed, and many students welcome to change and these changes.
When you think about first and second generation Korean pastors and leaders, why do you think that we are so different? Like, why do you think there's so many problems between those two generations? What do you observe, and what are your personal thoughts about that?
As a first generation, as you know, I accumulated educational background and cultural background. Cultural background is based on educational background. So it's not easy for them to change the style, cultural style and leadership style. So we need to mutually be learned to respect other side. At this seminary, I want to set up for learning each other, for respecting each other. So I want to set up educational system for that kind of education, theological education. First generation and second generation is they didn't try for that. It's a kind of new approach. If we fail to achieve mutual respect, mutual learning process, maybe our church is the future of our church is very dark. We need to overcome these differences and different gap. So I want to set up a kind of educational system for going for the bright future.
Chonjanim, in all of your church ministry and even being the president here at the seminary, what do you observe in my generation, second generation Korean Americans? These are Koreans who were born in America, raised in America, but all of our parents were immigrants from Korea. So our parents were first generation. And so what are your personal observations and thoughts about second generation Korean Americans?
Can I give you a question?
Yeah.
How did you feel with your first generation?
My parents?
Your parents, and your church, first generation church leaders at your church until now.
I think the thing that I thought about the most was that my parents, the church leaders, never quite understood me.
Never.
Yeah. They always looked at me with a Korean cultural filter and mindset, but when I'm going to school in America, we're learning about American values, American principles. And I know Westernized culture is a little bit more individualistic than Korean culture. And so I'm bringing that back into my house. 근데 우리 엄마가 아빠가 you shouldn't think like that. It should be more like this. And so there was always a disagreement on how to make decisions, how to live life, how to make choices, even from a haircut. 우리 엄마가 아빠가 머리 깎으면 it has to be just clean. 근데 난 K-pop도 듣고 하고 보고 I wanted to do more different styles. And so my parents didn't understand that. They didn't understand those things. And so socially, financially, even in education, there was always a disagreement. And in the church, we always felt like the leaders and pastors never understood us. It was always very much not even a cultural misunderstanding. I think it was even a hierarchical misunderstanding.
Okay.
Because we were always young. And so they always treated us like children. So we felt like we weren't respected. We felt like our opinion didn't matter. And so that was kind of the common way we grew up and what we thought about first generation.
Yeah, I have learned on the basis of Confucianism. Confucianism is a kind of hierarchical concept or style to understand worldview. So, first generation church leader fixed on the kind of leadership based on Confucianism, hierarchical, not vertical. This error is vertical leadership and network leadership. That points is stressed on each person's talent and each person's lifestyle. And we need to share with each own talent and experience. That means a kind of network style leadership and vertical leadership, not hierarchical leadership. But generation is changed. First generation is living from church leaders' position. The second generation take over from first generation church leadership. And first generation church leaders think about this change from a vertical or hierarchical leadership to horizontal and network leadership. First generation church leader rapidly accept this change. Leadership style is changed. So on the basis of a horizontal and network style of leadership, we installed a church situation. If fail to accept the change, maybe our next generation believers living from church. So we fully understand their situation, their lifestyle, and also their difficulties. Fully understand those kind of issues. First generation more aside to second generation to understand their difficulties. We need to fully understand their situation.
Hey, real quick, thank you so much for watching. If you're finding value in this content, can you please support the channel by hitting the like button, subscribing, selecting all on the notification bell, or write a comment down below. All 4 of these things helps our channel get pushed out more on YouTube homepages so that more people can find this value. Okay, let's get back to the podcast. You know, on the podcast, we've talked a lot about first generation 목사님s and their style of leadership. And oftentimes, the first generation, they lead like a general, like an army general, very strong,
Right.
strict, giving commands and orders. Usually, there's no real relationship between the head 목사님 or Korean 목사nims and second generation Korean American pastors. And I often think, why don't they change? Or why is it so hard for them to change, to be more gentle or more shepherd-like or to be more relational? Why do you think that we still, even today, we still hear about the KM pastors who are very strict and very, very, again, like kind of like a general, like an army, like a strong, strong presence? Why is it so hard for them to change?
Yeah, it's not democratic, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most of Korean church that kind of leadership from senior pastor. Senior pastor doing this, everything. They have to do everything. From good preacher, good manager, totally focus on senior pastor. Senior pastor need to build up their strong leadership. Church will require for that kind of leadership for senior pastor. Senior pastor to survive on that kind of situation, they really need to set up, build up that kinds of leadership. So, and also, Korean church, most of Korean church is based on a Confucian system, Confucianism. So there's a hierarchical and vertical structure. So on vertical and hierarchical system, a senior pastor is required from A to Z. Self-consciously, they have a big burden to overcome the difficult situations. The kinds of vertical and strong leadership is accumulated on the process to deal with those kind of difficulties at most of Korean churches, and kind of learning process. Through learning process, they build up very strong leadership. Not democratic.
Yeah, I agree with everything you're saying. I think that typically in the Korean church, the 목사님 is expected to do everything,
Right.
which is very hard.
Right.
And I think that's why they're so stressed out,
Right.
because they have to do it to again, lead the people. That's what the people want.
Right.
And now for us, though, it makes it even more difficult because we see that model and a lot of us just adopted that pattern. Do everything, and I got to show the people I'm a good leader. And it's really difficult. It's really even unhealthy because some of us, we're not skilled in all those areas.
Right.
We might be a good preacher, but not a good shepherd, or a really good shepherd, but we don't know how to do administration very well in organization.
Right, yeah.
So I hope that here at our school, we can try to help people understand leadership a little bit better.
Right.
So here, the vision is we're going to try our best to bring in Korean-speaking first generation and then second generation Korean English-speaking students together so that while they're learning academically, theologically, biblically, at the same time, we're going to try our best to help them understand each other culturally, missionally, but of course, even create a healthy relationship within first and second generation. What do you believe are the most important essentials that we have to accomplish in order to make this work? What do you think our vision here has to include in order to create that healthy bridge?
First of all, we don't have any chance for the education to respect mutually, to learn each other. We don't have any chance for that. Korean church.
Yeah, it doesn't
Korean
exist.
seminary.
It doesn't happen, right?
Even though at American seminary, we didn't have any chance for that. This is very brand new approach for the future educational, for the theological education. So as you know, the image of Apostle Paul has many faced, and one of his image is a female image, motherhood, caring, giving milk, a very female image he has. And also he has fatherhood, a kind of strong leadership. We have both. We need to have both images and leadership style. Sometimes we can use female leadership, motherhood. Another time, we have to use fatherhood image. A very strict, very strict, and do this, do that. We need to accept and care and console. This kind of images are female image, motherhood image. We can use both leadership style, but first generation church leaders only has fatherhood, male leadership style. Teamwork is very important to solve, to proceed our project. KM and EM collaboration, respecting each other at churchy context. We tried many times at Korean American churches, but finally the concern failed. The stage is moving on. Seminary. I wanted the stage to struggle with the issue from church to seminary. Seminary is a kind of educational context. We have to try to respect each other educationally and theologically. And first generation students have to learn from second generation students. Second generation students have to learn from first generation students. We need to mutually understand each situation, each leadership style, pastoral vision. Fully, we can share all things, and mutual understanding. Through mutual understanding, we going to church context. Maybe in different ways we can minister. This is my idea. Even though this is experimental try, but we try to collaborate and respect each other between first gen and second gen. This is a very important approach.
You've talked a lot about mutual understanding.
All right.
You said that a lot between first and second generation.
Right.
And so, what is one thing that the first generation can learn or understand about the second generation?
I think a conversation is very important key. We didn't converse with deeply second generation, every time we need to give direction, direct direction to next generation, our children. That is not good, not healthy. First of all, we need to listen from second generation, and then after full understanding, we have to converse. We have to give my understanding, my opinion to share with second gen. We didn't have this process before conversing with second generation. First of all, we directly give our directions via our order. That's not good. Second generation cannot accept that kind of leadership, that kind of conversation style. First of all, we need to listen. This is important. We need to change our dialogue, conversation.
What do you think is one thing that the second generation can learn or understand from the first generation?
We need storytelling, my experience, my handicap, my difficulties as a Korean American immigrant, not direct order. I want to share my situation humbly, my difficulties. Storytelling is very useful. 아빠가 이렇게 많이 힘들었다. 너하고 대화할 때 이런 게 힘들어. 예를 들면, for examples, I'm feeling difficulties to share with you, to converse with you very humbly. Maybe they can't understand first gen handicap, difficulties, difficult experience. We need to share each other, but we don't have seriously take this kind of process at the seminary through theological education, mutual understanding, their each own experience, educational background, and their own history. We can share each other. Step on that side. I try to fully understand this situation. This process is needed for the future theological education. If we don't have that process, we can fail.
That is such a good, wise learning, I think, that we can have from first generation.
I feel difficulties for me to understand, to share with my children, and the same experience I have.
Yeah. And I think that's a hard thing for all first generation.
Yeah. Understanding is very difficult process, but we have to take the same the process.
That's great. That's great.
When I share my experience with my children, sometimes he took a reaction very strong, very rebellious. But I feel my feeling. I can share with I share with my feeling with my children. They fully understand, not fully, but understand for my feeling, my difficulties, and after that, we can talk to each other, understand each other.
I totally agree, and I think that's such a wise point. I hope that we can see that more.
Really don't know my children's situation, educational background, cultural background, all different. I cannot understand fully their situation. For that reason, we need to talk to each other, converse with each other.
Well, we're going to try our best to do that here. And I know that we are working hard on developing this program.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very excited. As you said, I don't really know of where something like this is happening. but we're going to do this here in Southern California. And I look forward to it. And I really hope the Lord will bless it. And I think a lot of good fruit will come out of it.
You are here for that. I really want you to set up an English M.Div program. This is brand new approach. None of Korean seminary try to this. I really want to set up this M.Div English M.Div program successfully. I want to give everybody good example. First generation, second generation collaborate. Their collaboration is very important for the next generation or next generational theological education. We need to show everybody, and also to accomplish mission, God's mission, we have to overcome those kind of obstacle, difficulties related to generation, ethnic, and linguistic, and cultural differences. So at this seminary, through very effective collaborative theological education, we need to understand each other, respect their own leadership. After the end of education at this seminary, maybe everybody change leadership, thinking style. I hope so.
Yes, I hope so too. And I look forward to it. And 나는 매우 감사합니다.
I thank you so much. Yeah. You are very energetic. You are so passionate for this project. I feel that. I hope you will deal with this kind of a project. I am try to do my best with you. I need your help, your network, your talent, your experience. You fully share with us our schools.
We'll try our best. We'll try our best.
Mhm.